Hey everyone, so in today's video I'm going to do the eyeshadow tag, and I know I'm really late to the party on this. Like, this was really big over the quarantine, but I never got to do it because yeah, I just didn't do it. So when I was in quarantine, I watched a ton of these videos, like all of the 2020 eyeshadow collection videos, and like basically the declutters and the eyeshadow tag, which was started by Ali Glines and Samantha March. So after watching so many videos, I was like, you know what? I need to do a video like that. I need to do the eyeshadow tag. And I don't have as many eyeshadow palettes as a lot of YouTubers here on YouTube. So I thought it'd be fun, and it would be like a fun thing to do that I can make a video about. So let's get started. So the first question would be the newest palette. And my newest palette is the Wayne Goss one. And I love this little thing. I think it's so cute. You open it up. Look how classy. Doesn't that look like classy? It has 6 shades and they're all neutral, and then you have a nice black as a liner. And I know there was some like criticism about the black. They're like, oh, you don't really need that huge black, and if you're not a makeup artist, you're not gonna use up that whole thing, and you know it's hard to blend black, which I agree with. But I don't mind it. I think the other shades are so nice, and this one shade in the corner, it doesn't have a name, but it is so pretty. Let me show you. I mean, it's so beautiful. Can you see that? It's like, it has like this like cream sparkle to it, and it's very beautiful. And I think this was great for travel as well, and they blend really nicely. So in the morning, I have like 5 minutes to get ready, like literally. I wake up at 5, I have to get to the hospital by 6. So, you know, I don't have much time. So like, I need it to blend, and this blends. And you could just tell a makeup artist made this and thought about it, because it has that nice packaging for travel. It's like a good little size. It has these big pans, you know, so you're never going to run out of product. And the colors all look really nice together. So yeah, I mean, I do agree with the one criticism this palette received, is that it didn't have a cream matte. So the only matte in this palette is this brown and then the black. This is like a pearly shade. It has like a pearl to it. It's very sheer. Like, that's one thing about these shadows, is they're very sheer. You have to build them up, which I like that. I don't like when a shadow is too pigmented. Everyone's like, oh, it's so pigmented, and I'm not into that. But yeah, you can't even see it like on my skin, because it's so sheer, but it has like a little bit of a sparkle to it. So I think a lot of people wish that the palette had, instead of that huge black, that they had, you know, half black and half like cream. But overall, I love it. It's new and I love it. My oldest palette. Ooh, you know what? My oldest palette may not be in here. Hold on one second. And I'm back. Okay, so my oldest palette is this little Tarte palette, Tarte Flirt. And I remember when I bought this, because it was like such a big deal. I was in Sephora, and I was like, it was the first time I was gonna buy like an eyeshadow from Sephora that wasn't the drugstore. And I was like, you know, walking around like, am I gonna spend money on this? I mean, it's kind of expensive, but now I find that funny because I own a bunch. But like, at the time, you know, it was a big deal to buy like a fancy eyeshadow palette. And so it was a Tarte Flirt, and you can tell how, you know, I mean, look at that. Look how much I used, because I used it every day for like a year. I mean, I used it for a while, so I got really good use out of it. And it's still, you know, I swatched this yesterday, and it's still nice. Like, it still feels really nice. It doesn't feel like it's old, even though it is like 5 years old. But yeah, this was my very first one, so it's my oldest, and I love this one. My most expensive, is the Huda Beauty New Nude palette. Let me open that up. You could tell I used it a lot. So I have mixed feelings about this. I have a good memory, which I know is another question, but I put this one in my most expensive. I think it was $65. It was actually a gift, so I have a good memory about it. My boyfriend at the time, he basically surprised me with this palette. So I you know, picked it up, I put it in my cart, and I wasn't going to actually buy it. It was one of those things that I'm like, I'm going to put this in the cart. walk around with it and think about it, because it was $65. That's a lot of money, especially for like eyeshadow. I mean, like, that's crazy. That's a crazy amount of money. So I wasn't really gonna buy it, and so I took it out of my cart and I put it back, and I was like, I'm gonna wait for it to go on sale, you know, I don't need it, right? And he went in the store and he bought it, and like later that night surprised me. He took it out and he handed it to me, and I was like, oh my God. So yeah, I have, you know, I know I love it because of that reason, but I was underwhelmed with the shadow. I think they're very dry. They don't blend as well as I thought they would. And you know, the colors are beautiful. Like, it has all those pinks and those purples, but these two glitters are completely unusable. They're like Crayola glitter. Like, they're not like the Tati Beauty palette, you know, creamy glitters. They're like glitter. Like, if you go to, you know, a Michael's and you buy glitter, that's literally what those are. And so they're, to me, they're completely unusable, unwearable. I'm not gonna like put glue on my eyes to put glitter on them. It's just not something I would do. I know people would, but not me. And a lot of these shades, while it looks versatile in the pan, on the eyes, no matter what combination of colors I used, it always looked the same. So I took this with me when I went on an away rotation. I used it pretty much every day, so that's why it looks really used. But yeah, I love it for the story, and I love it, you know, it's fancy and the colors are really pretty, but I was definitely underwhelmed by the actual product. But I don't think I'm going to buy another Huda Beauty product again because of that, because I just think it's very expensive. And if you're going to put a price point that's crazy high, I think it just needs to be the best thing I ever used, and this wasn't. But pretty packaging. I mean, look at that. It's very pretty, and I mean, it's pretty. Okay, so most affordable. It's going to be my Jaclyn Hill Vault Collection. And I got this on sale. So I got this over quarantine when they were doing, like, Morphe was doing like these 50% off sales like the entire quarantine. I mean, I don't know what was going on there, but they were basically like, we're getting rid of everything and selling everything for 50% off, which I'm fine with because I got myself some cute stuff and I bought gifts for other people. But I finally got the Vault Collection, and I only spent $20 for all 4 of these, which that's $5 a palette. I mean, these are really nice for $5 a palette, and I know it got a lot of criticism at the time, but I think they work really well. I always get a pretty eye look when I use them, and I like them. I think they're beautiful. My favorite one is Dark Magic, which is shocking to me. I'm shocked by that because these are not colors I normally would go for, but I love the green, I love the blue, I love that silver. I just love Dark Magic. And then Armed and Gorgeous, very pretty, has that pretty olive green, which is really nice. And then I have Bling Boss, which is kind of like the Huda Beauty, so I don't use it as much because I have the Huda Beauty, and so it's very similar in colors, but lots of nice shades in there. This Hush Hush shade, and it's really pretty. That's a really pretty shade. And then Ring the Alarm, which I shockingly loved this when I used it. I thought it was like kind of like going to be boring, and I was like, I only got it because it was part of the collection, and it was $20 for all 4. You had to buy all 4. So I bought it, but I didn't think I was going to get much use out of it. But this is beautiful, like this warm brown. There's something that's unique about it, even though it's common colors. And then it has like that pop of purple, which I love purple on my eyes. I have brown eyes, so I love purple. And yeah, I love this way more than I thought I would. This one I've actually, out of all the vaults, out of all of these, I used the Ring the Alarm one the most so far. So yeah, something to keep in mind is that most of my palettes are actually new. I kind of got into it this year, and so most of these are new. You know, that's why a lot of them don't look like they've been used a ton, is because they're a lot of them I haven't had very long. So there's that. But that's my most affordable. My everyday, that's a hard one because I have multiple. There's a tie here, so I have to like talk about multiple palettes. Okay, I'm going to talk about these two. One is going to be the Persona Identity palette. Look how pretty that packaging is. Isn't that pretty? I think it's beautiful. Yeah, this is perfect for brown eyes. It was actually designed for brown eyes, which I think is really cool because a lot of people have brown eyes, but I love it. I mean, I love it. Look at the shade. This shade Bombshell. I mean, it's adequately named because I think it's bomb. Let me put It's like this olive green shimmer, but what's really, can you see that? I don't even know if you can see that. It looks prettier in person. I feel like the camera can't pick that up. But what's really nice about it is that all these shimmers are kind of like, they're not like in your face, so they're really good for every day. I can wear any of these colors to work and not look ridiculous. Like they're just very beautiful, and it's a small little palette, so you take it out, you don't have like a million things to choose from, so you can do a look really quickly. They blend really nice. I love this little palette for every day. And then this is a newer palette, but very nice. I'm glad I bought it because it's different. The reason I'm talking about two for every day is because Persona is definitely a little bit more cool toned, lighter colors, fall vibes, whereas this one, Supreme Nudes by Artist Couture, is very warm. So it's every day, but it's different enough to where I think I can talk about both of them. So what I like about Supreme Nudes, it's a hard packaging. Hear that, right? It's hard plastic. So that's really good for when you're traveling. It's not gonna like get damaged in your bag, which I think is really good if you have to do any type of traveling and take it on a plane or anything like that. And I just think the colors are really pretty. They're neutral, they're everyday. Again, like it has that pretty green, which I love green on brown eyes. Has this like pretty mustard color. And then these pretty like satins. And this one's kind of glittery. It has like a glitter to it. So it has like a little bit of everything that's neutral and it works very nice. I do find that the Persona is a little bit, it blends easier than this one. This one doesn't blend as well as the Persona, but it works just as well. I mean, you would only know that if you were using it. If you looked at my eyes, you wouldn't be like, oh, that looks dry. Like, you know, it doesn't look that way. It looks beautiful, but it's just a technique thing. But I love this. This is an everyday. So Supreme Nudes by Artist Couture, and then Persona by Identity. No, I'm sorry. Identity Palette by Persona. Most colorful. So I remember when this palette came out, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm glad I waited to buy a colorful palette, because I thought this colorful palette was like the prettiest and the most me. So this is the So Jaded by ColourPop, and I didn't own any ColourPop palettes before this came out. So for me, it was like a good introduction to ColourPop. I like Kathleen Lights. I think Kathleen Lights designed it. And I just think it's so pretty. I mean, look how pretty. It's a jewel toned, it's a big palette, it has a ton of colors in it. And what's nice about these is that even though in the pan, you're like looking at some of these colors and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wear that on an everyday basis. Like, it's so bright. They're not. Like, when you use them on the eyes, they're kind of toned down. They're not as like in your face like a rainbow palette would be. Let me get, and like they have this pretty, oh my gosh, what is this? Navy? No, not navy. Yeah, like this really pretty blue. I mean, like, look how pretty that is. That's beautiful. And I'm not even a blue, you know, eyeshadow type of person, but I mean, that's very nice. Yeah, so I like this. And it has the glitters. I don't use the glitters, but it has two glitters. And so you have like, you know, a nice mix. And then this is like a sparkly shade. Can you see that? It has like sparkle in it. And then it has like satins and, ooh, Peridot. I gotta swatch Peridot for you guys. This is my favorite. I think this is my favorite shade in the whole palette, because I didn't own a shade like this and I used it all the time when I first got it. You see that? It's like this, I feel like how I'm like trying to like anatomically move my arm so you can see it. But I like this. This is my most colorful palette. And to me, this is all the color I'm ever gonna need. I don't wear blue and purple and orange and, you know, whatever rainbow colored eyes on a frequent basis. So if I like want to do a fun look, I want to look, you know, fun, I'll take this out. I like this. I'm always fun. I don't know what I'm saying. Of course I'm fun. My smallest palette, I think I already showed you my smallest palette. That was the Tarte. This is definitely the smallest one, even if you consider this a palette. Some of you might not even consider that a palette. My second smallest palette would be the Wayne Goss, which I already showed you as well. So Wayne Goss is a little bigger, obviously, but those are my two smallest. And the Wayne Goss is expensive, but I don't know. I love Wayne Goss. Maybe I'm biased because I really liked him and I just think he's awesome, but I love it. I know it's neutral. I know it's kind of boring, but to me, I'm a neutral person. I'm not boring, but I'm a neutral person, 100%. Let's see here. The biggest palette. That is a toss-up. So my biggest palette is gonna be the Jaclyn Hill, the original, and then the volume 2. I kind of bought the volume 2 on a whim. Like, it came out over the quarantine and I was like, I love Jaclyn, I have to have it. I haven't used it as much as I wish I had because I think it's beautiful. It's just, you know, it has a ton of neutrals, which I like because you can use it on an everyday basis because of how many neutrals it has. It has those pops of color like that, like hot pink. I think the hot pink sold it for me because I didn't own a hot pink and I was like, ooh, I can own a hot pink now. But let me get a star shade. So Paulo at the bottom is like, to me, the star shade of this palette. It has like this purple brown undertone, so it's like a brown, but it has like a purple to it. Yeah, the camera looks orange in the camera. It's not orange in person. In person, it's like a brown purple. But anyway, I love it. I think it's beautiful and definitely my largest palette. And it's the same size as the original Jaclyn Hill, which this could also have been a toss-up for the category of my oldest. So this is the second oldest. You can see when I open it, you're gonna see that look at all that. Look how used it is. It makes me happy when I see a palette that looks like it's been used, because to me it's like, don't be wasteful, use your stuff. But yeah, I mean, this is a very well designed palette. I mean, one thing that Jaclyn Hill is amazing at, which I'm a huge Jaclyn Hill fan, so I'm 100% going to be biased, but one thing that she's really good at is making collections that people want to buy. Like her brushes, I own all her brushes. They're gorgeous. I love like her glittery packaging that she has with Morphe. Her highlighter palette I own. So she's really good at making things that people want, and she has a good eye for it. So I love her. That's just a shout out to Jaclyn. Jaclyn, if you ever watch me, love you, girl. You can message me. Not that you're going to. I have like 5 subscribers, but that's fine. Let's see here. Best memory. So this is gonna go with the best memory. It's gonna be my Tati Beauty. And the reason I'm going to say Tati Beauty, which I'll show you guys the palette. The reason I'm going to go with Tati Beauty is because I was going on interviews when this came out and I bought this. It was right around the time that I was traveling around the country, interviewing for different residency positions. And it was a nerve-wracking time, but it was a fun time. And I walked into a hotel. I wish I remember which state it was. I think it was Pennsylvania. It was Pennsylvania, I think. I was in a hotel. It was a really cute, quaint little hotel in a small little town. You know what? It was not Pennsylvania. It was Tennessee. It was Tennessee. I walked in and I noticed the person who was checking me into the hotel had the beautiful eyeshadow on. So I complimented her. I was like, oh my gosh, I love your eyeshadow. It's so beautiful. And I'm like, that must be the Tati Beauty palette, because she had the glitter, which the glitters in the Tati Beauty palette are really unique. And to me, it's a reason to buy it because it's so, I mean, it's just a unique thing to have. Like, those glitters are like, do you see that? Do you see the glitter? Let me try again. Maybe I'll go here. You can see it that way. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, that's a very unique thing to have, because you can kind of just tap, tap, tap on your eye and you get like this beautiful glittery look, and it's fancy and it makes you feel beautiful. I don't know. This palette just has like this beauty to it. It received criticism because I feel like, you know, you have to kind of do a monochromatic look with it. You know, it's hard to mix these. You know, because it's texture neutrals, but like, I don't think a row of black, a row of orange, and a row of pink is 100% neutral. That's my personal opinion. It's, you know, I think it's like neutral with pops of color, which it's fine, but it was kind of advertised as like an everyday neutral palette, and I don't think that. And I also don't think it's 100% good for beginners, because I think I don't think it's like a beginner palette, but I love it. I'm glad I own it. I'm glad I bought it. I'm not like a huge Tati fan. I don't dislike her. I don't like her. I'm very neutral to her. So like, anything I say about her palette is going to be a very unbiased opinion, because I don't feel one way or another about her. But I'm glad I bought her palette. I have a good memory about it. You know, the girl, I recognized it on someone's eyes. We had gotten into a whole conversation about it. It was an exciting time of my life. I was traveling with this palette, and every time I wore it, I would wear it not to like the interview. I would wear it for the interview dinner. the dinner that I met all the other residents, you know, the day before my interview. And I always just felt really beautiful and fancy. And I just, so yeah, it's my favorite memory. Worth the hype. Ooh, we're getting down to the wire here. Worth the hype. Oh, this is going to be tough. Well, let me see what the other categories are. All right, so here we go. Worth the hype. I'm going to go with a newer palette that I recently bought, but you know what? I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with the Melt Cosmetics She's in Parties palette. This came out like a month ago, maybe 2. It's like this deep, I bought it on a whim, honestly. It's like this deep purple plum palette, but it's just, I don't know. I wear this, I just feel so pretty. I just love this. I love the colors. It's like very like gothic vibe to it. It has like a very dark look. I just love it. And to me, you can even wear it on it every day because it's so, it's not like Crayola purple. Like you can wear a purple look to work and not look ridiculous. And it has like that pretty copper, so you can always do that all over the eye. If you want to do like something that's more everyday, you could do like a light lavender look. So yeah, I mean, it is like a more monochromatic palette, purple, but you can make this work for every day. I just love it. I think purple looks beautiful on brown eyes, by the way. I just think purples and greens are just, brown eye girls look great with those. So, and it works really well. And I love Melt Cosmetics. Melt Cosmetics is like one of my favorite brands. So this is worth the hype. I think you should all have this. If you like these colors, if you're not going to wear these colors, then don't buy that. Not worth the hype. I already talked about this palette, but Huda Beauty, it got a lot of hype. I mean, this palette, I bought it because I watched like Mel Thompson and a lot of the bigger YouTubers talk about it. It just, to me, it just wasn't worth $65. You know, if it was $20, $30, I would be like, yeah, it's nice. But $65, I mean, that's expensive. And it's just, it didn't, to have 2 glitter shades that don't even work. And then, you know, the rest of them, it's like, you get the same look. Although I do like these pearl, like these, you see these like shades, like they look like almost like pearls. That's very unique and that's very pretty. But yeah, I just, it wasn't worth it to me. Favorite palette from favorite brand. I feel like I should have talked about the She's in Parties for this brand. The only other Melt Cosmetics I have is the Gemini. I love the Gemini, don't get me wrong. I mean, if I was to make a palette, it would look like this palette. I love like the roses. Like it looks almost like a tattoo artist, like a rose a tattoo artist would make. And I just love it when you open it. It has like those pretty browns for every day, the mustard, and then it has like that green. Like you do like a really fancy green look. So I love this palette. But if I had to pick like one Melt Cosmetics and I was like, you can only have one, I probably would go with She's in Parties. But favorite brand, I don't really have a favorite brand, honestly. I have one from like, I try to like mix it up. Like if you've noticed, the only brand that I have multiples of is Morphe and then now Melt. That's it. I don't buy a ton from like one brand. I'm not like one of those people who buy like every ColourPop palette that comes out. That's crazy to me. But I really like this palette. This is the Soul Mane by Odin's Cosmetics. And I'm recently trying to get into more like indie brands. They're less expensive, they work just as well, and they're very unique and creative. And I like supporting a smaller brand, a smaller business, over like some of the bigger companies. But this is beautiful. I mean, look how pretty. I'm wearing that on my eyes right now. Can you see? I did like the purple underneath. Let me take my glasses off. I mean, I did this in like literally 5 minutes though. Like I wasn't wearing makeup or anything. I was wearing my pajamas. Let's see, it's 10 o'clock. I have to work tomorrow, but I took a nap today, so I'm not going to be, I have to, anyway, not to talk about my life, but, this is beautiful. I mean, look how pretty that is. It has like that beautiful lavender, and then this is like a very monochromatic green, and then where's the other one? This is very unique. You think the shade is like a dark black. It's not. It's like it looks that way in the pan, but then when you swatch it, it's actually like a deep plum with like blue glitter in it. You see that? Yeah, you look in the pan and you think that's black. It's not. So this is like, it has like a lot of uniqueness to it to me, and I think the packaging is really pretty. One thing I didn't even realize when I like purchased it online versus when getting it in person, this is like a rough feeling. This isn't like smooth. It's like, it feels very heavy. It just feels very luxurious. I think this is a great product, and it's a great brand, and I like this one. Most used. It depends if you're talking about the weekend or work. Right now, the most used is the one I had the longest, which is the Jaclyn Hill Original. I had that one so much, and recently I've been using the Wayne Goss every day, and then I use the Persona and Supreme Nude by Artist Couture. And then, so if I had to pick one of those, though, I kind of talked about all the ones I use on a regular basis. I use Persona a lot, like a lot. I use this every single day. It's the only reason that I haven't hit pan on it is because it's new, within the past 6 months. Like, if I had bought this a long time ago, all the shades would be gone because I use this one all the time. And then the Wayne Goss, I mean, this one's going to be gone because I use it every day. It's such an easy palette to use. Best for travel. Wayne Goss or Supreme Nudes, the hard plastic, that's the best. And then I'll just show you the rest of my collection. So that's it for the question. So let me just show you the rest. I don't have that much more. I have like 5 left. So this I bought on Poshmark. I love glitter. I didn't own a Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, and then once I used this, I understood why people like Anastasia Beverly Hills. At first, I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't love how all the packaging looks the same. They all have those like squares. I kind of wasn't into it, but it was on Poshmark. Someone was selling it for like 20 bucks, and I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to try it. Let me just buy it. And the Sultry was discontinued. This was a holiday 2019 palette that they don't make it anymore. So I was like, you know what? I want this one because I can't buy it on the site. It's very pretty. It's very neutral, very cool toned. It has like that pop of coral, which is very pretty. I'm glad I bought it. It works well. Dose of Colors Friendication. This is very, what I like about it is that, like, if you're wearing, I'm going to put this, it's called a Moment on. If you're wearing this palette, it's almost like the Tati Beauty where I could just tell you're wearing it. If you're wearing that color, I know, can you see it? You can't see the purple. All you see in the camera is that blue, but there's a purple undertone to it too. In person, it looks purple, and then on camera, you just see the blue. But if somebody is wearing this palette, I immediately know it. I can look at their eye and be like, yeah, they're wearing the Dose of Color Friendication palette. It was made by Desi and Katie, and it has those, like, very neutral colors. And when I wore this to work, when I was in an ophthalmology office, all the girls at the desk were like, where did you get that? Like, that's so pretty. And so I got a lot of compliments when I wore this. So I really like this. I think it's nice. And if you've noticed a theme for my palettes, most of them are YouTube creators. I like to support, you know, the YouTube creator. I think they put a lot of work and effort into their videos. So if they make a product, I'd rather support them than support, you know, a bigger company. Again, bought this on Poshmark. Look, it's Zoeva. It was made in Italy, which I think is cool. It's a indie brand. I don't remember where they're from, but I thought that the packaging was really pretty, and it reminded me of the Odin's Cosmetics with that pop of purple. I just wanted it, and it wasn't very expensive, like 10 bucks on Poshmark. I think on the real site. I actually think this is sold out. I don't think you can buy it on Zoeva, but I wanted it. I think it's pretty. I like the packaging. I appreciate a good packaging. To me, if I'm spending my money, it better look nice. That's all I'm saying. Too Faced Chocolate Gold. Again, I bought this on Poshmark. I'm almost regretting buying it. I really haven't reached for it, but you know what? It smells like chocolate. It has really pretty packaging. I don't own a Too Faced palette. I like it, but I wouldn't buy it again. I don't think I'd go for it because I just don't reach for it. I have the other ones that I just like more, but it's pretty. The last but not least palette is the Alter Ego Goddess. Now this is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Gold. So it's supposed to be like a similar vibe to that palette, which is why I bought it, because I wasn't going to spend Natasha Denona money on a palette. I mean, that's insane. But it's beautiful. It's nice. The only thing I'd say is, like, it works well. It looks nice on the eyes. But I didn't know, like, whenever anyone was talking about fallout, I was kind of always like, why do people make such a big deal about fallout? It's not that big of a deal. Until I use this palette. This palette, I've literally used it like twice. And look, it's everywhere. It just gets everywhere. It's all over your face. Like, don't put this shadow on and expect your foundation to look good. Like, put your eyes on first, wipe your whole face with a wipe, and then do your face. Because This just gets everywhere. It's all over the place. But it was $16, and then the original Natasha Denona is $125. So for $16, I mean, this is well worth it. And, you know, they try. Alter Ego does a good job at, like, not making an exact replica. Like, they have their own theme, their own packaging. They just copy the cover story, which to me is fine. That's no big deal. And they bring a palette that wouldn't really be available to most people. You know, they make it affordable. So that's cool. Well, that's the end of this video. That's all my eyeshadow palettes, which my friends are gonna, watching this, are gonna be like, oh my God, Jessica, I didn't even know you had that much. I promise I'm not buying any more for 2020 unless something really special comes out, but most likely no, not gonna do it. Yeah, so thank you for watching this video. If you have any comments or anything that you can share with me, let me know. I'd love to hear from you all, and have a great, wonderful night.